Appuyez simplement sur X. Ok. Ok. Chapitre 1, Londres sur Londres.
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
Ok. Pour interagir. Oups. Faudrait que je regarde si je peux jouer à la manette.
This mess is getting out of hand. What will the landlady think?
Les tensions entre l'Angleterre et la Suède sont à leur paroxysme après une série d'incidents malheureux lors d'une récente visite de la princesse suédoise à Londres. La cause de la discorde se trouve du côté britannique. Les services diplomatiques de la couronne sont en effet fort embarrassés par la disparition aussi soudaine qu'inexpliquée du garde du corps personnel de la princesse. Un porte-parole de la police assure l'Advertiser que le garde du corps sera localisé sous peu grâce à son physique caractéristique du peuple scandinave. Les hommes de ce genre se font vite remarquer, que ce soit par leur père dans les clubs de divertissement ou par leurs charmantes demoiselles qui les servent. Ok.
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Vera. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
Allons fouiller les poubelles. Aujourd'hui, essayez de vous vêtir en fonction du temps. Ouvrez le carnet d'affaires avec C et accédez à l'onglet garde-robe. Tab. Oh. Aura d'autres postes. Alors, j'imagine qu'il faut trouver les poubelles. C'est quoi une sorte de cheveux?
You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
Get the Strand! Get your copy of the Strand here!
Courir, mais on va courir.
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona.
Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Glassed. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
Any breaking news today?
The dog accident. It's the talk of the town.
Yes. Besides the tripe on the front page, anything about burglaries?
I'm not sure, sir.
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson.
Cool, now I can take the day off.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises. Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
Did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears. If you have more shillings.
Ok.
the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
Une pile de livres. C'est stylé ça. Monsieur Watson met un chapeau aussi. Non, alors ça. Ok. Livre de Shepard. Qui a souillé l'exemplaire du Strand. Épines de cactus potentiellement empoisonnées. C'est quoi ça? Je ne sais pas à quoi ça sert. Voyons, on verra bien. Où pouvons-nous aller?
Get the Strand. Get your
How
copy
about
of
that
the
Vogel
Strand
fellow?
here.
He seems rather obsessed with you. Would he do something like this?
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
Il y a des journaux là. On ne peut pas les prendre. C'est bête ça. Il y a plein de journaux par terre. Peut-être que le monsieur du pub a vu quelque chose. Non, bon.
I'll stand watch, just in case the strange man comes back.
Les bonnes preuves pour déduire la solution. Faut que ce soit ça. Ah, ok. Ok. C'était donc ça.
Come now, Mr. Holmes. Murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his scruples.
Not every pawn knows its part of a game.
À la photographie d'une librairie X. Essayer de localiser la librairie. Donc c'est quoi? C'est ça. Ah là. Tac. X. Ok. Ah oui, d'accord. Donc là, il faut qu'on trouve la librairie. Allons-y. Ça va pas être si loin. Hein. Ok. Il a l'air désespéré, ce pauvre monsieur.
Help me, please.
I wish I could help, but I know nothing.
Sympa, madame.
Could you help me?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Bon, là, c'est barré.
Could you help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Ok, bon. Je sais plus si je viens d'ici. Ah, ok. C'est où? Ah là.
Why go through all this scheming to murder you? A spine stuck to the newspaper is hardly lethal.
Ok.
A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another.
Bon, il réagit pas, lui. Oh. Oh. Pourquoi observer? Ah, les mains, regarde ses mains. Les serres, on est fait de surménage. Désir paraître plus grand. Ok. A des grosses cernes sur les yeux, causées par l'anxiété et de mauvaises nuits. Il a également commencé à claudiquer, sans doute la séquelle d'une attaque. Il porte de hauts talons pour paraître plus grand ou plus fort, a priori dans l'espoir d'empêcher d'autres assauts futurs. Monsieur Barnes est menacé par quelqu'un et participe peut-être à une sombre machination. D'accord.
Mr. Barnes? A word.
Pourquoi est-il surpris?
Oh, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please?
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
Really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out.
Allez là. Appuie sur Z pour eux. Oh, un peu comme dans Assassin's Creed. Vision d'aigle.
The ladder is broken, recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Ok. Ah, c'est ça, je me disais bien qu'on entendait un chien.
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
I could hardly imagine anything more macabre. Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby.
Catalogue de plantes exotiques qui se trouve sur le comptoir de Paris. Peut-être titre pour un amour éternel. Bon, rien à voir avec le cactus alors.
In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is. The finest view London has to offer.
Le troisième. Ah, pile de livres.
An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible.
So.
We're looking for a cactus needle in a haystack. A spine in a book stack? No, come on, Watson, think.
Est-ce qu'on a tout fait ici?
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
Bon.
I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket.
Alors, où nous faut-il aller maintenant?
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
En gros, il veut dire que il faut qu'on retourne à l'intérieur. On va voir ce qu'on a. Ça, on l'a fait. Si on fait X. Salut Batoche. Ouais, ça fait longtemps que j'ai pas stream, c'est vrai. Comment vas-tu? Ça va, ça va. je sais pas. Qu'est-ce que j'ai fait là comme bêtise? Bon, si on l'a placé là, peut-être qu'on va aller voir la madame.
The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall.
Elle n'a pas l'air si morte que ça.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Bon, sous les yeux, c'était la bonne femme. Ah là.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
Ok. Oh, il y a un cactus. Ah, c'est les mêmes épines.
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
Ah là, il est cassé.
The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
Mhm. Ah, il y a autre chose à voir.
Familiar spine. Is this what I found in my dustbin?
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Juste parce qu'elle a envie d'être jolie, voyons. Regarde lointain. Voilà, par contre, elle a l'air... opulence, voilà, pour une tenue de travail. Alors, Madame Fleming dissimule ses joues baignées de larmes. Et si elle a perdu son mari? Sa robe est confectionnée dans un tissu coûteux, ce qui ne la rend pas pratique. Ses chaussures ne montrent aucune trace de boue. Bien qu'elle essaie d'oublier son deuil, en s'habillant de manière élégante, elle continue à porter une broche en deuil. Ok. Toujours un point à l'horizon, prévenant ainsi son détachement émotionnel. Ces éléments, une fois assemblés, suggèrent que Madame Fleming souffre encore de sa perte tragique. Bon, normal. Hein. Normal, j'ai envie de dire.
My condolences, Mrs. Fleming.
Mr. Holmes?
Your husband's death. You're clearly still in mourning.
Oh no. I loved him more than anything, of course, but that was some time ago now. Life goes on.
A lesson we all learn, one way or another.
Fournir des preuves. Des preuves de quoi? Ah, celle-ci.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
Elle a vraiment des yeux clairs impressionnants. Alors, on soutient qu'elle ne sait pas comment le cactus est apparu à son étal. Ah, c'est peut-être l'autre qui l'a mis. Hein. Ah, il faut fournir d'autres preuves. Quelle autre preuve je pourrais fournir? Des roses. On va essayer ça.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about this, sorry. I don't know anything about this, sorry. I don't know anything about this, sorry. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
Bon, bah... Je pense que c'est tout. Hein.
I'll be off.
4 preuves mises à jour. So. Ok, ok. Monsieur Barnes, on peut peut-être retourner voir le Monsieur Barnes. Je ne comprends pas. Il a perdu Watson en chemin. Ah non, il veut pas. Bon.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Il manque un truc. C'est quoi ça? J'ai d'autres trucs à lui montrer à cette madame. Ah, le chien.
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily, I know, not very original.
Épreuve de quoi?
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
On va tous les
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course. But we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
Mhm. Donc. Donc, qu'est-ce qu'on peut... Donc là, ça marche. C'est le bleu qui marche pas. Non. vitrine fait l'intérêt de l'extension de Madame Fleming, une fleuriste. Il espère qu'elle viendra dans sa boutique pour lui donner quelques conseils d'arrosage, ou il pourrait simplement s'agir d'un symbole de son désespoir affectif. Barnes lui a offert de manière anonyme un cactus. Il s'agit surtout du cactus qui a fait tomber. Oh, c'est rien de méchant là du coup.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
C'était juste sur son chemin, il a livré. Il a fait tomber le pot pour la madame. Ça a mis une épine dans le journal.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer. I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus in your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
Est-ce qu'on fait quelque chose?
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the obtruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper.
Alors, repère ébranlé par salpêtre, ça s'en fout. Les habitants dans le voisinage ont été quittés pour un réveil fort explosif la nuit dernière. Le navire marchand Moskva, qui s'était amarré au quai numéro 3 en début de soirée et en partance pour l'Europe, a été le théâtre de plusieurs déflagrations puissantes qui ont provoqué une effet de fumée rouge. D'accord. Les autorités portuaires n'ont encore rien communiqué sur cet incident et nous ignorons si des membres de l'équipage se trouvaient à bord. Les témoins nous rapportent qu'ils ont vu le salpêtre couler dans la rivière, mais étant donné que la zone est interdite, il faudra peut-être s'armer de patience.
Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Ok. Où est-ce que nous allons?
let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
Très bien.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But
it's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.
Alors, on a une carte. Comment on ouvre la carte? Je ne sais pas. Ah, là. Ok. Ça, c'est la librairie, donc on est là. Baker Street, Manoir Stenwick. Ok. Port ébranlé, avion. Épinglé. X. Ok. Sur la même rue que Baker Street. Si je me trompe pas, c'est par là du coup. Je ne sais pas, on verra bien. Moi et mon orientation.
Not much further now.
Pas là, le manoir. Un beau jardin.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the Inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles. And it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick.
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony, then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
Tell me about Kimahia.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen, and as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English. Never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
Is there any reason Kimahia may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
The salade.
I take it this is the first time Kimahir has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
Did Kimahir make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person.
No. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
Ok. Alors, trouvons une petite cabane. Peut toujours. Empreinte de
Looks like a
genou.
knee print.
Je vois le
Chewing tobacco.
tabac.
Chewing tobacco.
Pourquoi je trouve pas? Est-ce qu'on peut pas tourner plus? Ah, alors, prendre de bac.
A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right. Could have left these tracks. They seem fresh. A scrap of Hessian. These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them. Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here.
Sure.
A small navy spyglass. Clothes made of Hessian. Is Sten really so miserly? A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called. No air coming through it.
So. Quelqu'un a recraché du tabac dans le jardin. On a trouvé des empreintes. Qui se tournent vers la droite. Ah, il faut que je trouve une clé peut-être. Il faudrait que je l'épingle lui. Si je l'épingle. Qu'est-ce qu'on a ? C'était quoi ? Si on prend les vêtements, on peut les mettre. On verra. On va voir si...
Button chops. The remains of a meal.
Ah, ça me fait mal. Elles me font mal. Ah.
A heavy chemical odor. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
Ah, I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
The ashes are long since cold.
Voilà. Théoriquement, j'ai encore deux... Ah, voilà.
Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden.
Ok. Donc là, théoriquement on a tout. À moins que si j'épingle, je peux pas épingler autre chose. Faut qu'on trouve la clé, je pense.
Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed? You think you know someone?
D'accord. Chemin Holmes. Watson. Allez Watson, couche-toi. Alors ça c'est... Ah, c'est peut-être pour faire un ordre. Donc là il mange. Donc... Tac, c'est lui, d'accord. Lui c'est le premier. Pourquoi j'en ai que 4? C'est le dernier. Deuxième. Il me manque qu'un indice.
The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney.
Do you think Kimmy here had an accomplice in his escape?
Bon. Ok, conduite de cheminée, d'accord. Ouais. Là, on sait toujours pas. Il doit me manquer un truc. Je comprends pas trop le principe des trucs là. Peut-être que j'essaye d'épingler un autre... On va essayer un autre indice. L'individu appartement à la casse ouvrière. Voyons voir si on trouve d'autres empreintes. Ok, il observait, je veux bien, mais...
Yes, Denwick is no angel, but he's one of my few clients. Please, try to remain courteous.
Mais non, pointure 11, c'est genre pointure anglaise, j'imagine. Parce que moi, je fais genre, je crois que je fais du 7 ou 8, moi. Je suis pas un bébé, pourtant. Pointure américaine, un truc comme ça. Bah oui, écoute. Bon. Où est-ce qu'on peut trouver un autre indice? À moins qu'il faut vraiment que je fasse mes connexions, mais il me manque un truc là. Peut-être que lui, il peut nous raconter d'autres trucs. Ah voilà, ok.
I thought you were meant to be intelligent. Where on earth are you going with this?
The door to your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden.
C'est ce que je fais. la clé de cette serrure, d'accord.
Are you joking? Why would I know this?
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimahia's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it.
Donc ça peut appartenir à l'autre type.
I thought you were meant to be intelligent.
Do you happen to know Kimahia's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest. But I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes.
Ok. Est-ce que on a d'autres preuves ou non? Est-ce que il fume?
Has Kimahia ever indulged in tobacco?
No. The man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain? I found chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimahia's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco.
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimahia's?
Yes. I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting.
Okay. Ah, là j'ai des objets, ok. Alors, le tissu, si je mets ça... Non, ça marche pas. Je pense que c'est la longue. Parce qu'il y a eu ça, ça... Ah bah là, je sais pas moi du coup. Il n'y a plus d'objets. Je pense que je comprends pas vraiment comment ça fonctionne ce truc. Pas les mettre, c'est ça qui est dommage. Bon, il doit encore nous manquer un truc. Alors, les serviteurs du capitaine. Ça, on le sait, ça. T'as rien d'autre à nous dire?
Why are you still here?
Excellente question. À moins que si je peux aller genre si je fais le tour voir l'autre côté de la porte, à moins que des gens aient vu quelque chose.
Could you help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Bon. Comme par hasard, on ne peut pas passer par là. Je pense que la porte doit donner là-bas.
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
Mais ouais, comme par hasard. Peut-être bien, hein. Peut-être bien eux. C'est pas simple, hein, cette enquête. Je sais pas où est-ce que j'ai loupé un indice. À moins qu'il y ait quelque chose à faire avec les trucs verts de reconstitution, là. Bon, là, il veut rien faire. Ah, si, là, il y a les 5. Ok, bon. C'est quoi le scénario? Ah, d'accord, ok. Il faut que je mette les trucs dans le bon ordre. Alors ça, bah ça serait le dernier. Il y aurait quoi en premier? Il mange de toute façon. Il mange et après... Non, il mange. C'est quoi cette histoire? C'est ça, lui. Il traîne. Ok. Et l'autre, c'est où? Toi, t'as ça. Ça. Ou ça. Ouais, ça, c'est plus logique. Ouais, ça c'est l'inconnu qui regarde. Avec la longue vue. Ok, pourquoi pas. Ah, celui du milieu est pas bon. C'est lequel, celui du milieu? Donc il mangeait pas alors?
Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity. When Kimahir went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth. Kimahir inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart. The final challenge was opening the garden door.
Luckily for our intruder, Kimmer here had the key in his shack.
Remarkable. It makes total sense.
Ok. Ok. Et donc, il faut retourner voir l'autre type. Monsieur Stanley, nous avons une théorie.
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimmer here. Likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimmer here never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimmer here's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimmer here was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, he slipped a narcotic into Kimmer here's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimmer here, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know? Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
Truly, there is no better evidence of a man's nature than the way he treats those who help him. And you, sir, are a brute. The cruelty of your ignorance about the Maori people, your selfish attitude to a man's kidnapping.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon with good news. And in the meantime, please teach your companion the art of brevity.
Sherlock Holmes, des propos concis. Pas vraiment. Alors, ah, on a un nouveau truc. Ok. Non, je pense que... Ah, on n'a même pas résolu celui-là déjà. On verra. C'était quoi la preuve quête? Avec pas me laisser celle-là. Bon, on va enfin voir ce qu'il y a derrière cette petite porte. C'est étrange. N'importe quoi. Il n'y a même plus le chariot qui barrait le passage. Ah là 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 là. Effectivement, là, c'était un complot. Comme par hasard, le chariot est parti. comme de par hasard. Bonjour petit oiseau. Une marelle, ok. T'as quelque chose à me dire?
Stenwick makes his servant live in a
Oh.
tool shed. You think you know someone.
C'est vraiment pas beau, hein? Par où ils auraient pu passer? Mhm. Parce que... Ah là.
What does it say? What does it say? No seams or torn fabric on this doll. Likely one-legged by design.
Pigeons des rues et corbeaux des toits. Oh, faut trouver toutes les poupées. Ok.
A treasure hunt. Used to do lots of those in my childhood for myself and...
Is it a call for help? A bad joke?
Or both. Better not risk leaving this matter ignored, don't you think?
Ah ok, donc ça veut dire que j'ai deux enquêtes simultanées. Ok.
Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair.
Roy.
Roy Soulsby. That be the name of our man. A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the colour and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor?
Well, it's odorless, but from the way it absorbs water, I'd say saltpeter.
Oh. Then we're in agreement. Well done. Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahia's cart, I gather.
Ok.
A large pile of horse droppings.
Donc un cheval. Mais le cheval et le chariot aussi, c'est celui de tout à l'heure, on l'a vu. Hein.
Many cigarette butts. Someone stood here for hours. There was a cab waiting here. Our abductor slipped in and then off into the night.
Je crois qu'il y a peut-être Z poupée à trouver. Que donc. Oh, les tonnes, non, je l'ai pas. Ma sœur les avait. Je crois qu'elle les a tous, les professeurs Letton. Mais j'aimais bien, c'était cool. Les prises de tête aussi, mais c'était sympa. Roy Soulsby. Peut-être faut qu'on trouve qui c'est ce Roy.
If you find my man, I have a marvelous whiskey with your name on it.
Bon, on n'a rien à lui dire. Bon, voyons voir. Bah, la carte de visite. Et le portefeuille. Comment ça? Ça peut l'identifier aussi, ouais, effectivement. est un marin. Ok. Et là, est-ce qu'on peut... Observation. Faut qu'on trouve la piste. Ah, alors, le ravisseur est un marin. Ah, je vois. Le marin. Ah oui, c'est vrai qu'il y avait eu l'explosion de salpêtre, machin chose là. Ok.
The Strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident. Doctor, do you recall?
The Port of London, of course. The footwear, the spyglass.
Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there.
Et comme par hasard, il y a un petit monsieur qui nous attend. Si vous quittez ce lieu, vous ne pourrez plus y revenir. Ah ouais? On peut pas revenir après. Bizarre. Bon, on va voir si on peut parler à ce type.
This dreary rain is making a miserable day even worse.
De toute façon, je pense qu'on a fait les connexions qu'il fallait. Hein.
Where to, Gav?
The Port of London, please. I will show you where to stop.